Hello, welcome back. You can see I got out of my pajamas eventually. I just got back from the gym a few minutes ago. It's about 10:30 at night. I'm gonna get a little bite to eat and then hop in bed soon because I suspect that crew scheduling will call me in the morning. But I wanted to film the video about the pros of being a flight attendant, just the positive aspects. And so let's get to it. We all know how I talk, so it's best I start sooner than later. Travel benefits. Now, one of the reasons we all take this job, one of the reasons, is to be able to travel whenever and wherever we want. On my days off, with with any domestic airline, I could go pretty much anywhere I want for free. No taxes, nothing. So if I have 4 or 5 days off and I want to go home to Atlanta or back up where I'm from in Boston or visit some friends in Tampa, I just book a trip and go. It's super nice. My mother and father, if I were close to them, would be able to use those benefits as well. I don't have a boyfriend. I have an ex-husband. I don't have a boyfriend or a husband, so I don't have them on my flight benefits, but because I don't, there's space for a travel companion. So I've chosen my oldest friend, Marcus, to be my travel companion this year. So he also has my travel benefits as well. He would find it easier to travel with me than without me, because if he's with me, he would have my seniority level. Which is not super high, but it's better than some. If he's traveling by himself, he would be below in the list. He'd be below anybody who works for my airline. And he'd be below, I think, anyone who works for other airlines, but not their dependents. So he'd be kind of low on the list by himself. So if he does use his benefits, no one else has. It would be easier if I were to go with him. But we can travel anywhere domestically for free. We do not have international flight benefits in my airline with Delta, American, or United, those 3 legacy carriers. We can fly domestically with them, but not internationally. So we instead, my coworkers who have used their flight benefits exhaustively, will take Air Italia, Air Canada, Air France. I want to say Lufthansa. For some reason, I want to say JetBlue goes international, and we can fly with them. There's just dozens of airlines that we can actually use our flight benefits with. So it's no big deal that we can't fly United, Delta, or American internationally. No skin off my teeth. We would pay taxes if we were to fly internationally, but otherwise it's no charge. And it's pretty amazing. You know, I non-rev, which is what it's called when you're flying for leisure. I non-rev to Atlanta to see my friends and the dogs. I fly to Boston, where I'm from originally, to see my friends and some dogs. I travel to see dogs, honestly. And I fly to Tampa once in a while to see some friends down there too. So that's where I most often travel when I travel for leisure. Although, short story, I know, me, tell a story. I had a date back, I think in September, October. Super, super ridiculously handsome man. This guy was just, I couldn't breathe when I first saw him in person. We had been chatting online for a while, and he was nice enough online. His photos were just, I can't even. So beautiful. And we made a lunch date. We made plans for a lunch date. He lives at the corner of Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco. So I just took a flight to Oakland. Excuse me. And I took the train into San Francisco. And we met, and boy, he just knocked he was so beautiful. Oh my God. Which makes it almost more of a shame that it was the worst date. I won't say it's the worst date ever, but he had a boyfriend, just for starters. Just not a good date. But The only thing it cost me was a bowl of soup at a Thai restaurant or something like that. Pho, P-H-O. That's all it cost me. And it was a good story. It's a good story. But travel benefits are amazing. When I have a little bit more money, I definitely want to go to Germany. I spent 4 years there as a teenager. I'd love to see Germany as an adult. Maybe Paris. I definitely want to go to London. And I would like to see Rome. I've seen a lot of Italy as a teenager, but I'd like to go to Rome as an adult. Health benefits. Okay, so health benefits. When I was in training the last day, they had an hour-long talk about our health benefits and what they included and all that stuff. When they told us what our health benefits were like, I usually wear a big ring on this hand. I smacked my hands on the table. It sounded like a gunshot. I smacked my hands on the table and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was literally tearing up. My eyes were misty. I was so overwhelmed with, and I could cry now. I was so overwhelmed with the generosity that our plan covers. We don't pay a lot in our premiums. It's not a lot of money. I paid probably $10 more a pay period when I worked at Neiman's for our health benefits, and they were not fantastic. And I don't know if I can tell you exactly how much our out-of-pocket is a year. Let me just say that it's considerably less than $1,000 a year, but more than $500 a year. It's right around there, right in the middle. That's total out-of-pocket a year, including co-pays, doctor's office visits, those things. If I had cancer, if I was become HIV positive, if I had a heart attack, if I had to have major surgery, my total out-of-pocket would be nothing. Like, well, there's something, but considerably less than $1,000 again. The worst case scenario, that's all I'm paying once a year, done. In the climate that we are in right now in this country, where health insurance is not guaranteed, I won't go into too much about politics. I don't know who you are or what you feel about this, what's going on in this country, but to know that I could, not that I want to, but if I got ill or became sick in any part of this country, across the country, nationally, I would be covered completely by my insurance. I will never, because I'm never leaving this job, I'm never going to have to worry about being bankrupt by health costs. Now, if you're 22, that may not sound like such a big deal for you because you've never really been that, well, maybe you have, I don't know, I'm sorry, but very few people who are very young understand the importance of health insurance. I can go on for an hour about it. Our vision insurance, unbelievable. My copay for my lenses, when I wear my progressives, my multifocal lenses, my copay is $25. Those lenses can be between $500 and $700 once a year. I don't even have to wait every other year. Once a year, I have this benefit every January. We get some money towards a frame. It's not a lot of money towards a frame, but it's more than enough. It's ridiculous. Our vision benefit is just about the best I've ever seen. Very few people I've seen in the ultra high levels of the financial institutions in Boston I've seen have a similar benefit. Our dental is included with our health benefits, so we don't pay anything for dental. The dental plan is good. It's very good. I have partials, so I have some things that are not, well, I own them, they're mine, but I was not born with, and they only cover half of that, but other things, they cover like 80% or something like that, I forget. But amazing dental benefits. I would want this job just for the health insurance. Okay, so you'll meet the most amazing people. Let's get off benefits. You'll meet the most amazing people in the world. on a trip probably 2 months ago from Pittsburgh, a red eye from Pittsburgh to Vegas, I met this woman, and then I met her aunt, and then I met her best friend, and then I met her brother, and met her husband. And it was pretty soon a party happening in the back alley. It's a red eye. We did try to keep it quiet, but we all became super, super close in almost no time. We just had such a great connection. When they got off the plane, I was really sad because I was going to miss them. We did share some information, but when I was non-revving back to Las Vegas from Atlanta, and who was sitting right at the gate when I got off that plane, waiting to get on that plane for themselves? All of my new friends. We embraced as if we were long lost family. It was crazy. Next time I have a layover in Pittsburgh with any longevity, with any length of time, I'm spending time with them. I think they live like 30 minutes away from town. So they're going to pick me up. We're going to drive back to their place. I mean, you meet the most quality people. It's amazing. Your coworkers, for the most part, 99.44% of them are super cool, super chill. You're really going to get along with them. There'll always be one or two that are just, I can't even tell you. When they're bad, they're bad. But most of them are just amazing people. When someone's hired by an airline, they're really hired for these qualities that make it easy to get to know them and to get along. You'll meet the most amazing people in the world. I wrote down, tell the story of the seal. So there was this little family. They were like the last aboard. It was taking forever to get people on this plane. And the family was just adorable, little millennial little family. The girl was probably 7 or 8. She had a little tiara with little cat ears on it. The boy, precious little boy, who's probably 6, 7 years old, he had a bigger stuffed animal, a seal, a stuffed seal, and a smaller little baby seal. And coming on board, I said, "Oh my God, you guys are so cute, but unfortunately pets aren't allowed on board." They are, but not seals. I don't think. I said, "Oh guys, I'm so sorry, pets aren't allowed on board." And their faces dropped. The parents smiled. And I said, "But you guys are so cute, you can come on board." And during the flight, I'm like a little bumblebee, which is kind of funny because our uniforms kind of look like bees. But going from, flower to flower, and I chat and I talk and I smile and be nice. And I sort of chatted with this family a few times. Really cute, really nice connections. And the kids just loved me. When they were leaving, the little boy came up to me and had the most stern, that little face little boys will make when they're really serious. And he walked up and he thrust this at me. Oh, cute is this? Oh, I love him. He thrust this little baby seal at me. And I said, "Oh, no, I can't take it." Clearly I did. "Oh, no, I can't take it. You can't break up the family, And he looked at me with a stern, serious little boy face and says, And he was like, his mom leaned down and said, "Honey, are you sure you want to give him your seal?" And he looked at me and looked at her and went, and it was the most touching moment. And my coworker said he gave it to me because it kind of looks like me. Yeah, looks just like me. His eyes are blue, brown. But it was just a moment that was just super sweet. So I keep him around, usually near my bed or something, or somewhere where I'll see it in the morning as a reminder of how much I do love my job and the people I take care of. We stay in some amazing hotels. I won't go in at length about hotels because they're just hotels, but they're usually near something interesting. They're usually quality. They're always safe or in a safe location. So our hotel connections really takes good care of us when we stay in hotels. And what's better than just dropping into a big, giant, comfortable, freshly made bed? Nothing. See the country or the world. I have had layovers in some fantastic cities. I've really just had some of the best the best times. I've traveled a lot as a kid. I was an army brat. My mom was a hippie. So we kind of saw most of the country, but I never really got to see these big urban cities intimately. And I wrote a list. These are my favorite layovers that I've had. And I've had some others that weren't so gorgeous. Let's see, San Francisco, Portland, DC, Boston, Atlanta, New Orleans, Houston, Chicago, Kansas City, and New York. Those are my favorite layovers. Two of them are home for me, Boston and Atlanta. But the remainder are just places and New York. I spent a lot of time in New York City. But many of these places I'd never been to before, had heard about, but really just never thought I would get there, you know. I had never been to San Francisco. With being who I am, it's a surprise. I've never been to San Francisco, but to go there and see these legendary places, just really fantastic. So I'm going to see the entire country, and eventually I'll see parts of the world I'd never been to before. Again, I lived in Germany as a teenager for 4 years, so I saw a lot of Europe, but I want to go back to Germany. I want to go to London. I'd like to see Rome again. There's a little place called San Marino. It's a little tiny city-state on the top of a mountain in Italy. And I was there when I was 14, and it was magic, and I would love to go back there as an adult. KCM, speaking of magic, known crew member status that allows us to move through security without actually having to go through where passengers have to go and wait. We just walk through a separate line, scan something, show our badge and our ID, and we go through. Once every great while we have a random where we have to be checked. That could be anything from a hand swab to actually going through a security line, but we also don't have to wait in line for that either. So it's fantastic. And I can bring whatever I want. If I'm in uniform, I can take anything I want in terms of liquids and gels and things like that. If I have a 2-liter bottle of soda in my bag, no problem. I don't do it on purpose, but I am very aware when I walk through KCM that I often have a giant coffee or a big giant soda or something in my hand drinking as I pass by security. And I know that other passengers are seeing him go, why can he bring that giant soda through, but I can't bring my bottle of water, you know? KCM is amazing. It's a miracle. Easy job. I wrote easy job except for medicals. So outside of the rare occasions where someone is having a medical emergency, and that could be anything from someone throwing up, that could be someone having a small seizure. It's happened. It just happened to me recently. Not me, but a passenger. It could be someone who faints. All sorts of little things happen, and thankfully, very, very rarely is it time that I've ever heard of my coworkers having a serious medical emergency. Not common. So outside of that, the job is ridiculously simple. It's pretty darn simple. I've done everything in my career. I started off as a dishwasher when I was 16. I worked in a dietary unit in a hospital. I was a house painter, a telemarketer back when it was a real thing. I was a makeup artist for many years as in my earlier career. I've worked for Saks, Neiman's, David German selling fine jewelry. I've been in the optical field for 6 or 8 years. I've done a lot. And every single job I've had, I've worked hard. And this job is not a lot of work. It is so easy. You get on board, you do your security checks, prepare your cabin for beverages and snacks and things like that. Our airline doesn't do a full meal service. We just do a snack and beverage service. And we do 1, 2, or 3 of those depending on the length of the flight. We do a snack and beverage service. We walk up and down the aisle. We have to do it every 10 minutes. One of us has to walk up and down the aisle at some point. We do trash, just double checking, making sure people are okay. It is the easiest job I have ever done. It is ridiculous how easy it is. The real job is to be prepared. The real job is to be vigilant and have some situational awareness. So as you're walking through that cabin, you're looking for potential red flags. You know, if something's amiss or something's going wrong or you're sensing something. But you can, that's not a huge effort once you're trained and you have that skill. It's the easiest job in the world. And the last thing I wrote down is that it's interesting. You know, I've volunteered for a couple different organizations for many, many years, and I've met tens of thousands of people. I've spoken in front of large crowds thousands of times. I have met so many people, and I only remember maybe 4 people who have been flight attendants. It's not the most common job. Very few people are flight attendants. So it has some panache in itself, because you say flight attendant, and there's this perception of what a flight attendant is, and what we do and what we see. And much of that is genuine and real. Some of it's a little exaggerated. But very few people are flight attendants. And when you say you're a flight attendant, people's ears usually perk up like, really? You know, that's so cool. Who do you work for? Where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. So people really think it's interesting. And it is. It's the best job I've ever had. I'm never leaving it. This is my last job. To my knowledge, I'm never leaving my airline, because I happen to love my airline. It takes a lot for me to not react too strongly to people who like to bash my airline, because they do like to bash it. But I love my airline. I'm very, very proud to work for them, and I see my future staying with them. So that is my little video on the pros of being a flight attendant. If there's anything you think I missed, please leave a comment below. I'd appreciate it. Certainly subscribe, because like the video, that was the thumbs up thing, and subscribe. I'd like to think that I'll be bringing you some good solid content if I haven't already. And I will thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Fly safe.